Hey guys, it's a Chew Reporter here. I'm going to do my first video review. So I've got my notes right here, so I may look down a few times and excuse the studio behind me. It's still a work in progress for my music company. But anyway, I wanted to go over and do a review of the event we just attended. It was the 2013 Universal Spirit Association, Spirit of Hope. It was January 18th, 19th, and 20th in Charlotte, North Carolina. First, without saying anything about the event, the man and the main person that runs the event, Adam Thomas, is a great all-around person. He's an amazing guy, super nice, very humble, very accommodating, and he puts on a very good event, and he doesn't let things slip through the cracks. He pays attention to detail. He makes sure that your experience is going to be amazing, and I really respect the effort and the thought process that he puts into this event. You can tell he spent a lot of time polishing his system and making it run well, and it really does. His staff, and I'm sure it comes from the top, his staff is just amazing. They're always welcoming. They always have the knowledge that, or the answer that you're looking for, and if they don't, they find it, and they're very accommodating as well, and they always greet you with a smile, and they're very professional. They're not a bunch of hungover college kids working warm-ups that are in there with a headache and a hangover, or they just sit there and tell you to switch mats. They actually walk you from mat to mat. They're on top of it. You don't have to worry about that team in front of you that's running over time, which is cutting off your time on that next mat. They move everybody. They hustle. They run warm-ups really well. The events really well. Backstage people were real peppy with the kids and made the kids feel good before they walked out on the mat. It was just really a nice touch. The staff is amazing. Registration process was pretty simple. It was all online, and they sent all the stuff in. I know my staff had no complaints. I didn't actually participate in that portion of the registration, but my staff said it was pretty simple. They're on top of things, and they definitely would call you if they needed something, or if you hadn't done or hadn't paid, or there was a difference in pay, or if you changed numbers, they would contact you back and confirm. It was really thought out, well developed process. The format of this competition is there's two arenas on each side of the convention center, and in the middle they have the warm-up area, which makes it convenient, so you can just kind of go from warm-ups and either go to this hall or to this hall, instead of having to have warm-ups way over here and have the two halls all across the other side, and then you have to go through one arena to get to the next. So it was actually very well thought out. They had about 300 teams, and I'll go over some of the plus and minuses. And again, these are just small opinions of mine, and these are things that I noticed. I'm sure there's other goods and bads about the event, but these are just things that I picked up on for the review. The event's purpose for Hope Stout and the beneficial factor that comes out of the event and the philanthropy aspect of it is a great concept and a great idea. The things that this little girl Hope started, it's just amazing that a little child with that issue in her body could come up with this concept, and look how big it's gotten. I mean, it's just amazing what one little girl has changed probably the lives of hundreds of people. So we are very proud, I would say, even with our program, for our athletes to go through this experience, because it teaches them that they're contributing. Even though they're doing what they love and they're competing, they're still contributing and giving back to people who are in need. So I really give lots of props to the Universal Spirit Association for coming up with this concept, and the amount of money and the things that they're able to give, and the research probably that has benefited from the donations from this event are amazing. So kudos on that whole idea. The event was pretty much on time. I mean, with 300 teams, 2 arenas, they were clicking through and pretty much stayed right on time. I think if they got off, they'd catch right back up. I'm sure you had built-in buffers and stuff in the schedule to play with, but 300 teams, even if you're 5-10 minutes off, that's pretty impressive, because you never know with injuries or somebody getting sick on the mat or anything like that. So that was awesome. The event's on time, and it always is. The event was very smooth and professionally run. It had that feel. It had that big event feel. So it's really good for the kids to experience that, because a lot of teams don't go to Dallas or Worlds or the majors or anything like that. They don't go to the big huge events. So going to an event like this is actually really good for smaller programs that don't go to the larger events, because you still get that feel-good feeling of this is the big show and you're on the big stage, and you could kind of hype it up as a big nationals for your team to attend and make it be like, hey, you're special because you're going to this event. It's a really big event. So I love that, and how professionally run, and the staff looks professional, they act professional. That's awesome. The announcers in both arenas were on point. They were some of them were radio personalities, so they had great voices. They were very controlled, they were very professional, and they had that announcer feel, and it wasn't like some guy yapping on the microphone or talking about things that were irrelevant to the day that no one wanted to hear, or cracking cheesy jokes or anything like that. They were very professional. They were very eloquent with their voices and well spoken. So that really makes a difference, because you guys know if the announcer's not good, then it's kind of like having a narrator of a book just be a bad reader. It's not enjoyable. And the last, there's many other good things, but one of the last things that I want to say is there was lots of thought he put into the award ceremony. They have a lot of flair and light shows and graffiti and the music and the anticipation and the announcer. He's a little funny with his R's, but he definitely builds the anticipation and makes the kids feel like they are winning the Olympics, and that's what it's all about. And then one of the negatives I will say is the award ceremony in the past has been a little long, and this year they've really trimmed back on it, because they still want to spread the word, which I agree with. It's just sometimes some of the coaches that have been there 9 times, they look like, okay, I have to go through this award 9 times. But the thing is for the kids that go on the mat, that's their only award ceremony. So to me, I think it's great that they spend a lot of attention and a lot of detail on the award ceremony. Even though it is long, it definitely spreads the message, lets the kids know what they're being a part of and what they participated in, and it makes them feel good about the placement or the winning, and it makes it feel like it's a really big deal. The awards and everything are awesome. Just to go through some of the negatives, and like I said, there aren't very many, and these are probably small things that have really nothing to do with the event at all, but just the surroundings or parts of the event that the parents would experience, and things that they could look into, but they probably can't do much about because it's beyond their control. But one thing that is part of their control is they only guarantee about 10 or 12 minutes between teams when you have crossovers, and for larger programs that's an issue, because we have 17 teams, 16 teams that we took to that event ourselves, and having kids walk off the mat and having to jet to the other arena and walk right back on the mat was a little tough. But we knew it up front, and we were told up front, so they didn't spring it on us. But I really wish there was something that they could do about that. But that probably is not one of their priorities, because it's so few and far between that there's that many gyms that have that many crossovers. And I'm sure it's hard, to not make it close together because of the number of teams. 300 teams. I couldn't imagine juggling that schedule. One of the issues that we personally had there was with one of the vendors. One of the vendors, a bow company, was at the event, and they were actually selling logos from the gyms that were there. Like, they downloaded them off the website or something. From all the gyms that were there, they were selling bows with the actual trademarked logos on them. And after a few harsh words from me, they took mine off the shelf, and I'm sure some other coaches went over and did that as well. But I can say that Universal Spirit Association was very accommodating. They didn't know what was going on, and they took care of it, and they made sure that we were comfortable with what the resolution was. So kudos on that. And this is probably one of the things that's the same no matter really where you go. Food options are kind of limited. They had a diverse menu, from like Bojangles to some salads and pizza and spaghetti and some sandwiches and salad, like prepackaged salads. But there was really 3 main places to eat, and with 300 teams inside the arena, it's kind of hard to wait in line, especially when you had more teams, or if you have teams back to back and you don't have time to eat. So personally, and not only just the Universal Spirit Association, I would recommend that there is a separate, even a pay restaurant if you don't want to prepay for the food for the coaches, but an actual separate place where coaches can zip in, get food, and get out. So all of you competition owners out there, it's a great idea to have, even if you make them pay for their food as a coach. I think it would be great if I could go get something to eat, even if I had to pay for it, and not wait in line for 20 minutes, because I don't have 20 minutes when I'm at an event and we have 16 teams going back and forth, or even 5 teams. It could be hard. So take note on that. The one thing that our parents did complain about for the event, and like I said, this is getting a 5-star rating. The event was awesome, and 99.9% of the things of this event were great. Is the $20 a day is pretty steep at the door, and I know that I'm not sure what the bottom age was for their kids, but a lot of, I had friends in Charlotte that wanted to come just watch our teams that weren't cheerleaders, and they were like, "Oh, I'm not paying that. I got 2 kids and my wife and myself. It's $80 for the day, to go watch." If they went 2 days, it's $160 for a family of 4. So that was a little steep. Granted, some places give a discount of $5, and there's lots of events, and mine included, that are up there as far as spectators. But that was just a complaint that our parents had. I understand it from an event producer side, because you got lots of expenses you got to cover that people don't think about. Really, that's it. The event, like I said, it was an amazing event. It's a great experience. We've been going for several years, and I've seen nothing but evolution. The actual competition concept and the details and the flow chart of events. I mean, everything through that event has just, they're greasing the wheel every year, man. It's getting better and better and more efficient and more professional, and I'm extremely impressed. So highly recommend it. Definitely getting a 5-star rating from me. We take our teams there, and we've been going for several years, and as long as they continue doing what they're doing, we're not going anywhere as well. So I highly recommend you check out. It's www.universalspiritassociation.com, and give a shout out to Adam Thomas. This is the Cheer Reporter, and I'm out.